We're going to jump right in. There is a lot of information in Next. We are not going to cover even all of it or a part of it or whatever. So we're going to hit some highlights and talk about some specific things. If we don't talk about the thing you want to hear about, please email us. I'd be glad to kind of dig into something different as well too. Agent platform got renamed, right? So we were calling this Vertex, Model Garden, Agent Builder, all of that. So we've renamed it. Now, the good news is that when Google renames something, that means they like it and it's sticking around. So we get it. Name changes are frustrating, just making sure you know what's going on. But this does create a place where, all of the process of building these things, and that's what we're trying to do with this platform is create a clear place where, hey, this is where you can come and you can build what's next, whatever version of that might look like. So lots of options between Agent Studio, observability, simulation coming very soon. Some of those are in preview right now. And then, of course, the ADK, the runtime, and all the identity stuff is available today, right? Next slide. We'll dig into that platform just a little bit more. So huge advances in observability and securing things. Lots and lots of options there for testing and simulating what's going on. So you can look for those edge cases, make sure you're taking care of those very quickly, as well as open integrations with lots of models, right? So you want to build an agent with another model. You want to uptrain an open model, like take Google's open model Gemma, uptrain that, do something with it, and build an agent with it. Great. You have a model you built on your own. Awesome. Any of those things are possible here, and you can build those much, much faster because there's so many different ways to interact with the ADK and all of these different situations, right? So getting agents back into agent as code and DevOps, clickable, maintainable, all those is really what this is about. We already have clients doing this out there: L'Oreal, Color Health, and City on the right in the blue box, as well as that entire field of uh, um, logos that we see there. Lots of people have been using this platform for a while. The name change, of course, is a little different, but our biggest, best clients that we're working with as well are already moving towards changing how they build these agents for scalability and optimization, right? Because the next thing is, okay, sure, we built an agent, but we got to optimize it now, right? Gemini Enterprise itself becomes the front door, right? So this is the idea that this is the third place where you get work done. You're not getting that much work done in email anymore, maybe a little bit in chat or Slack or something. But where's the third place you get work done, right? So this is where you open up the door when you're managing lots of agents. This is where it's going to be. And it keeps you from switching around. So Canvas mode, if you haven't used Canvas mode in Gemini web app already, they're bringing that into Gemini Enterprise. So independent of workspace, you can have that live edit window next to your chat and interact directly with not only Google Docs and slides natively, where it pulls that interface in, but you can also interact with other types of files as well, including Office and other third-party kind of files as well. So lots of big stuff coming there. And Agent Designer, you'll notice big improvements on kind of the WYSIWYG Agent Designer here. Awesome way to be able to quickly do that. Now, of course, this sits on top of ADK, so you're going to be able to export your agents and import agents and still use code as well as the visual editor. So yes, and you're not missing, you don't miss something in there, right? All right. I think we covered a little bit of this, but adding long-running agent skills, your inbox in Gemini Enterprise to handle notifications, as well as projects to contain things. So projects in Gemini Enterprise as well as in Drive are some big improvements where Google is thinking about how to make it easier for you to keep your context organized for these sessions and agentic experiences. All right, we'll pause for 1 second, and we're going to talk a little bit about data cloud. Now, a lot of these things would apply across different types of data sources. Some of these are specific, so dig in with us. Let us know what you're using and what you're thinking about. But overall, the concept here is getting AI closer to the data. So bringing inference closer to the actual databases themselves and making sure that we're building things in a way that agents can read and understand them quickly. So bringing inference in to BigQuery obviously speeds things up a little bit and allows for cost savings as well because we're not calling everything every time. We're only pulling down the information we need, so we're spending less cycles, tokens, etc. Right? You can see clients are already using this and getting big benefits out of it. So building data experiences where agents are treated as first class citizens and making sure that they have access to what they need. So always on semantics, multi-layered investigation instead of just trying to and just brute forcing things, right? And streamlined orchestration. A lot of this really does come down to orchestration and making sure that they have, the authorizations and access they need. So Bloomberg Media and others have been already using this as well too. Um, all right, moving on to security. One of the biggest announcements was Wiz, obviously coming in. There's a lot of improvements that are coming out of that. So lots of agents that can be deployed to kind of go out there and figure out what's happening security wise in your organization, as well as other tools, Chrome Enterprise Premium, Security Center, all play together to, really level up options for those that are building agentic workflows. Now, there's model armor, there's all the standard things that are in there as well. And there were great announcements in each one of those categories. We might have a separate webinar just on security because it's so detailed. The triage and investigation agent was probably one of the coolest that I saw. And so being able to start an investigation and get that 80-90% of the way done with zero kind of interaction, and then hand that to an analyst who can quickly move through these and, decreasing response time was really, really important. So in security situations, obviously, response time can be critical. So that was one of the coolest things that I saw. And then, of course, just fraud defense. So completely automated fraud defense. This is really, really slick because this is a big problem. If you have a fraud event, how many sales does it take to make up for one fraud event, right? You got to sell it. You gotta sell 10 more things to make up for that one fraud event. So anything you can do to stop fraud because it just ends up and it's demoralizing, right? And it's no fun. So, socially, this is not something fun in a company to deal with. So I was excited to see them digging into more of this so we can get back to doing, the important things. Now, of course, none of this would be possible without the actual infrastructure underneath this. So Google had a lot of other great announcements, but one of the biggest ones was that, we've got some new chips coming, the 8T and the 8I, not one, but two TPUs this time, which was actually quite impressive. And so they're pushing this forward to make sure that we have the hardware, the interconnects, and the infrastructure to actually build on top of, right? So none of the other things we've talked about today would work if we didn't have that hardware. And Google's really, really good at building hardware and data centers, right? And maintaining them. So onto Workspace. Workspace has become a key data source in the agentic kind of movement. There's so much happening in Workspace, Drive, Chat, all the different things that it's a key place for work to get done. And so all the integrations between Gemini and Workspace have really kind of, been at the forefront of this because that's where a lot of the work really is happening. So Google wanted to take that to the next level. And so Workspace Intelligence ties in not just one, but all of this information into um, agentic experiences, whether you're building something yourself or a lot of the pre-built things that are in Gemini Enterprise and other places, they're taking advantage of this Workspace Intelligence layer. So this provides situational awareness, Google building on top of their expertise and knowledge graphs and other ways of chunking down data and working with that. So obviously new AI features throughout Workspace as well, docs, slides, all of those kinds of things. So lots and lots of new things. And now you can actually generate editable slides in Google Workspace and Gemini, and it'll create those editable slides, export it to slides, and then you can customize from there. There's some other things that are in previews, like skills and canvas mode in Gemini Enterprise integration, where you're actually pulling, workspace effectively into the Gemini Enterprise interface, right? So I know we're running up on time. I've got a couple more slides here. Security and sovereignty, um, giving you control around what agents can see and do inside of workspace. This is obviously a highly sought after feature for those workspace users, but it does allow you to set up agents as a more autonomous, because you can put guardrails around what they're doing, right? So you can trust that that's happening. And then, of course, the Workspace MCP server, which is very useful in all of our IDEs out there, whether you're using Anti-Gravity or another IDE with agents built in. The MCP server allows you to interact with Workspace as a data layer effectively, right? So that's the quick recap. That's pretty good on timing. And I'll hand it back over to Ned.
Yeah, thanks, Taylor. And yeah, that is really good on timing there. So I think the call to action, the ask of me from all the customers that we have on the call today is, as I mentioned earlier, right? This is not the generative AI conversation of 12 months ago. We are seeing the rubber meet the road, and we are seeing, based on the slide that Taylor showed with all the customers, the case study that I mentioned with one of our customers, they are going through business transformation right now, by leveraging everything that Google Cloud has to offer with regards to agentic AI, so and specifically Gemini Enterprise. So for everyone who's on the call today, I know we covered a lot of information, but my ask is that you all think of what is a one use case, a workflow where maybe you can find some efficiency, or one use case, one agent that you would want to build to better position your company in the overall competitive marketplace today. And then the ask is to reach out to me. I'll put my email in the chat. Reach out to Taylor, Sarah, Sean, anyone from Tridorian and Google, so we can sit down and start talking about how we can actually make that a reality for all of you. And then also, Google does a really great job. We have tons of funding available, to incentivize you all to leverage Tridorian and their fantastic professional service work, to make this happen for all of you. So that's my ask of everybody. As I said at the beginning, like, I could not be more excited to be here at this moment in time. It's like the next great wave of technology. I hope all of you are just as excited as we are over here, and that we can do some really cool things together.